Although my father was present, he was very silent, very nonverbal, nonchalant, just, in my opinion, just really didn't care. I tried my best to go into sports and things like that because I felt like that's what he loved. So I felt like if I did it, maybe he'll find something in me that he would love. I wanted him to at least tell me that he was proud of me. I wanted to look out in the stands, and I wanted him to see me as I walked across the stage to get the awards. You know, all the cliche things that men always say, but those things were very real to me. And soon enough, it turned into anger. Yeah, there was one time where my father and I, we got into a really, really bad argument. It was a Christmas morning, and he was drunk. And my father has always struggled with alcoholism since I was born. And that morning, he came out of the room, he was drunk, we had family over, and at that moment I just kind of snapped. And I was very upset. We got into a scuffle, got into a really bad fight in front of the family, and I really lost my cool. And at that moment, I didn't just disrespect him, but I also unearthed a lot of anger and resentment that was still on the inside of me, things that I had felt for a long time. But just didn't want to talk about, just didn't want to let out. But that was a crazy moment in our relationship, and from that time, it really hasn't gotten much better. We still don't have that kind of connection. You know, I call, he doesn't answer. You know, I always hear guys, they always say, you know, I wish I knew my father. I wish I knew my father. And I really empathize with them. I always tell them, you know, it hurts me kind of the same way I believe it hurts them, in the sense that I know my father, and it's almost as if he doesn't want to really know me. It took me a while to feel accepted by the world or by anyone. I felt like I needed to create my own place and position in the world. I didn't feel affirmed as a man. I didn't feel like I was well prepared to be a man in society. That resentment, that anger, that hatred is no longer there in my heart. I'm able to love him. I just still can't tolerate a lot of the things, but I would like to think that I'm being healed from it all. I would definitely tell my younger self, it's gonna get better. It's definitely gonna get better, and you don't have to follow in the same footsteps. It's gonna get better. It's gonna get better. Even when it doesn't look like it's gonna get better, it's gonna get better. Oh man, my little buddy, his name is Logan William Lindsey. Logan was born March 13th. He was born 10 pounds, 1 ounce. When he came out, I was looking over, and he came up, and he was kind of whimpering a little bit, wasn't really crying, and I said, Logan, and he opened up his eyes real big, and he looked over at me, and then he kind of blinked, and then he kind of went back, and he started crying, and just from the first day I held him, it's just been that connection from the first night in the hospital, I mean, until now. He's growing by leaps and bounds. He's maturing right before my eyes. This little guy, it's like I see him and I see some of me in him with his facial expressions and the way that he goes to sleep. And I mean, it really keeps me on my P's and Q's. I'm like, this little dude is watching me. The other day I was shaving, and he's sitting on the bed and he's kind of looking at me the whole time, like with his mouth open, eyes wide. And I'm like, this dude is watching me. That's why I love to spend so much time with him. You know, even now, he can't necessarily talk back to me right now, but even now I sit down, I try to explain things to him. Son, this is what we're doing. Son, this is how you do this. And I have a little note, I have a little pad, it's a little book that I'm writing in. I'm writing little stuff in that he does and writing little notes to him, so when he gets older, he's able to go back, he's able to read it. And when he gets of age, you know, we're gonna start going through Proverbs and stuff like that, just little stuff that he can know. Every day needs to be a different story, teaching him when I go in and when I go out, just fully preparing him, just being that father, that protector, that teacher, that priest. And it was dealing with my own struggles and everything else about my relationship with my own father. And one of the things that hit me so hard was, I want my son to be more prepared for the world than I was. And I think that was the biggest thing about fatherhood. To be the king comes great responsibility. It takes great maturity. But also to be the king, it takes a lot of preparedness, making sure that you're prepared to walk that journey. David didn't leave Solomon. He didn't leave Solomon by himself. He didn't just say, hey, go out there and be a king. He said, hey, man, this is what you need to do, son. Follow the Lord. But he can never say that he wasn't prepared by his father.